That would be like sending an invitation.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I can see the Hangout in my stream. Can anyone else see it? Yes. There it is. There we go. I see it.
Yep.
You see it?
I got it. Yeah. It looks like that. Yeah. So it's like that, and if you press to play, you won't be joining the Hangout because you're watching slides. So they
play on the player?
Yeah, if you press to play on the player, you won't join. You'll just look at all and it'll just be fine. In the interrogation room.
No, I'm still not doing that.
Are you in your circle?
Yeah.
Your circle up? That might be.
Yeah, you could just add us to something.
Yeah, you might invite like
sit on the green wall.
I
just added. Yeah, we just.
It's really good.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm not bad. I didn't fix my hair, as you can tell.
Looks great.
Thank you.
We're just waiting for more people to do it.
Okay.
We'll probably get going in a minute.
I'm just cleaning stuff up. Yeah, I should switch you to the other screen and then I can face it when I talk to it. Well, I'm Chad. I'm from Made Today Media. We have a big daily newspaper in Portland, Maine.
Hi, Chad. Gina here.
There we go. Hi. I got Bob here too. Hey, Bob. Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing well. Yeah. We are just waiting for a few more publishers. Welcome. Nice. How are you doing today? And Ryan, we are just waiting for everyone to join. guys, if you still haven't been able to mute, you look at the top right, look at your microphone and click on, just so we can wait until everyone's flowing.
Hey guys, we're still getting a lot of audio feedback. Could everyone who's dialed in please mute? Please mute. We're still getting a lot of audio feedback. I'm hearing someone typing, for example. Could everyone make sure their microphone is muted, please? We're still getting a lot of audio, for example. Could everyone make sure their microphone is muted? We're still getting a lot of audio, for example. Could everyone make sure their microphone is muted?
Thank you, patience, guys. We're just waiting for a few more. Thank you for your patience. We're just waiting for everyone to join. Again, if you've just joined, please make sure you mute so that we don't get a ton of feedback, and when we start presenting, people can hear everything.
Well, Ryan, do you think we're about ready to get started, or
ready.
still wait a few more minutes?
I'd like to introduce Orla. She's going to kind of go over just the ground rules for using Google Hangouts so that we can all make sure everyone is hearing everything and seeing everything correctly.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. So first of all, as you've heard Ryan mention, definitely try to stay on mute anytime you're not talking. The typing noises and the audio feedback can get pretty bad, and we want to make sure that Alex can present with no hiccups. The other thing is, if you have any questions at any point during the presentation, we do have the list of questions on the moderator that we sent out in the invite, but if it's easier, we also have this great chat box over here, so feel free to type any questions over there as they pop into your head, and then we'll come back to them at the end of the presentation.
Thank you, Orla. So today we appreciate you guys taking the opportunity to come and listen to the new tool optimization. I'm going to introduce a senior product manager, Alex Vogenthaler, who's going to walk you guys through the tool fundamentals and features that this product will allow you to take advantage of. As always, if you have further questions after the presentation, feel free to reach out to your account manager, and they can answer those and present you more details. As Orla kind of mentioned, if you have questions throughout the Hangout, utilize the chat. But then at the end of the presentation, we will use the already submitted questions and go over them. So again, thank you for joining, and at this point, I will pass it off to Alex, and he will present the optimization tool.
All right, thanks everybody. I'm Alex Vogenthaler. I'm the senior product manager who leads up product development for DFP, both the premium version of DFP and DFP Small Business. And with me is Andrew Brown, who's the product manager in charge of our ad serving and our optimization technology. So what I wanted to do today is give you guys essentially a briefing on the add-on product that we launched 2 weeks ago at the Ad Monsters Publisher Forum in Palm Springs. In Palm Springs, we announced that we have a new machine learning optimization module that's available for DFP that drives performance and revenue based on traffic segmentation, and click-through rate and conversion prediction. And we can take everyone real quickly through, sort of the basic problem we're trying to solve, some of the pretty interesting secret sauce that we're able to apply to the problem by leveraging technology from AdWords and AdSense. And then we've actually had a number of publishers beta testing this for a few months. And we're going to share some case studies about what kind of performance improvements they're seeing for their sites. Does that sound good? All right, I see some nods. And unfortunately, when I'm presenting, I'm not going to be able to see you guys, so I'm not going to notice hand raises. Ryan will be able to interject if necessary. Okay, can everyone see what I'm projecting? You can see my computer monitor, which right now is pictures of yourself. Ryan, give me a thumbs up if you can see the presentation.
Right now, I can still see myself.
Okay. Okay, good. All right, can you see the presentation now?
Now we can see the presentation. Excellent.
Okay. Okay, good. So, to start off with, I'm sure everyone has had plenty of personal experiences with this, but some data to point out that advertisers really care about site performance. Even if you're selling on, a CPM or a sponsorship basis, advertisers that use, products like DFA, when they're doing a media buy across, 100 sites, they're comparing every one of those sites to see, is site A performing better or worse than site B? Do the users on site C seem really checked out or really engaged? They have to do those kind of comparisons across sites because they're figuring out, what site should I buy on next time? They want to put their money where it's going to be the most effective. So they're going to do repeat business and larger deals with sites that perform well. And the single most important metric to them for judging site performance is still click-through rate. There are other metrics that are starting to bubble up. Some advertisers measure conversion rates. Others look at engagement rates for rich media ads. How many people expanded the rich media ad, how many people clicked to play the video. But whatever statistic they're looking at, they're using some statistic to judge the quality and engagement of audience on your site to the quality and engagement of audience on other sites that they're seeing. And you're going to be able to increase advertiser satisfaction, repeat business, larger deals and prices if you're driving results for advertisers. But it's hard for an ad operations team to do that. When I talk to publishers, and when we talked at Ad Monsters, we did a roundtable and asked, how do you guys optimize campaigns? And what we heard from most people is that in ad operations they spend a quarter to a third of their time doing site optimizations, and it's a lot of guessing. It's I think this campaign performed pretty well for men last time. Let me retarget it away from women, or let me target it to a midday audience rather than evening day parts, or let me try to pull some of the international inventory out of there and make sure that it's targeting English language users. There are, dozens of scattershot ways that ad operations teams try to match an ad up with a particular pocket of inventory that's going to respond well for it. But it's a fundamentally hard problem. There are thousands and thousands of ways that you can retarget every campaign. When you have hundreds of campaigns running this system and all of these changes you can make on every campaign, and you have to keep these campaigns running on schedule, you don't want to have to deal with make goods, you're nervous about causing under delivery. And that's where something like DFP optimization comes in. It's an automated, absolutely automated way of making sure you're maximizing every opportunity in terms of driving performance for advertisers. It does it using some pretty impressive technology that we've been able to leverage from AdWords and AdSense. And in so doing, it will automatically optimize the performance of all ads across your site while respecting the campaign goals of every ad. It doesn't cause any under-delivery. It's what we call a constrained optimization, subject to the requirements of day parting and the targeting and the scheduling that you specify. Within that, it'll optimize every campaign for performance. And the fundamental way that it does it is it starts to group your impressions together and do automated tests to see which groups of impressions and which groups of users respond well to which campaigns. Without optimization, there's just this, big stream of impressions that are coming into the site, and there's one that comes in at 6:42 and 10 seconds on the sports section. And then there's another that comes in at 6:42 and 27 seconds on the sports section. We have no idea without optimization whether those users are like one another, not like one another, or what ads are likely to perform well for those particular impressions. What optimization does is it takes all of the data about your ad traffic and groups impressions together into similar bundles. We call these segments typically. And so that uses data on where the users are located, their geo. It uses data on, are they on a mobile device? Are they on a desktop device? What language is their browser set to? What section of the site are they looking at? Any keys and values that you pass in on the ad tags, genders of the users, their interests, any site preferences they have. All of that data gets used to create these segments. And then what we do is something that's very, very similar to like a pharmaceutical drug trial, where you give one group of people a placebo and another group of people the actual real drug, and you look at the difference. We do the exact same thing here, where we have a test group and we have a control group. The test group is typically about 20% of the traffic, the control group is about 20% of the traffic, and the test group that we're actually optimizing is 80% of the traffic. And what we're able to do is deliver an ad across all of these different segments and see which segments respond very, very well to it. And then what we do is we bias the delivery of each ad to the segments where it's performing well. And this is conceptually similar to what an ad operations team might do with targeting or day parting. If you see an ad performs better at night than during the day, you might target it to the night. But what optimization is doing is that on a grand scale. Thousands and thousands of different targeting combinations across thousands of ads, and it's doing it all in a way that prevents under-delivery of the ads. And the results are that optimization is able to lift click-through rate for CPM campaigns, and very shortly, around the end of Q2, beginning of Q3, if you're doing Spotlight conversion tracking, it'll be able to optimize specifically towards driving conversions for campaigns as well. And then on the long-term roadmap, our plan is actually to allow you to, if you're using DoubleClick or media, to optimize specifically for events like a user expanding a particular ad or clicking to play a video. So that is very important for CPM campaigns where advertisers are still monitoring their click-through rate to see whether your site's performing well. If you're selling on a cost per click basis, though, it will directly lift your revenue. Because if you're selling clicks, if you can deliver the guaranteed number of clicks in 10,000 impressions instead of 100,000 or 1,000,000 impressions, you're lifting the effective CPM of your site and freeing up a ton of impressions that you can then sell to another advertiser or monetize through the ad exchange or through AdSense. So one thing I alluded to here is that the new version of DFP optimization, it actually works for all types of inventory. And you've probably seen the fact that we're just baking video and mobile ad serving capabilities right into the core of DFP. We're doing that for optimization as well. So optimization works across desktop web inventory. It works for mobile web and mobile app inventory, and for video inventory. So it works across all different types of inventory and different types of deals. And after we spend a few minutes talking about some of the underlying technology behind optimization, I actually have an interesting case study from Flickster to talk about the video and mobile optimization results that they've been seeing. Any questions so far?
So it looks like we have one, Alex, from Tyler. Question: will we be provided with this data specifically now that the segments are performing?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We typically hear that question. The way the system works is it's all essentially behind the scenes. It's this automatic retargeting and biasing of ad delivery. There's there is a way that you can get some of the data out of the system, and I'll explain that. The new version of DFP has a feature that we call non-targeted key value reporting, which means that even if you're not targeting a specific key or value as part of an ad, you can still get breakdowns in the reports on that basis. So say you have an ad that's geo-targeted to the US, but your ad tags include information based on registration data saying whether the user is a man or a woman. You'll be able to go into the delivery report for that ad and see, what percentage of the impressions went to men, what percentage of the impressions went to women, and what the performance was for each group. If you're using optimization, what you'll see if you do a non-targeted key value report is you'll see more impressions delivering to men or fewer impressions delivering to women, and you'll see that there would be higher performance for men, and you'll be able to get the control group versus the optimized group performance statistics for each one of those non-targeted key value reports. So you'll be able to get a fair amount of the data out of the system based on your non-targeted key value reporting, but it's not exhaustive. And the reason is that the optimization system can actually create millions and millions of segments based on whatever it finds to be predictive of ad performance. And they can be pretty non-intuitive chunks of inventory. Men using Firefox late at night in New York City that are on Verizon. For whatever reason, they're responding particularly well to a given ad campaign. Is there like a conceptual reason they're responding really well? It's hard to say. So when you dig into a lot of the segments, the information tends to not be very, very actionable, and it can be pretty overwhelming because there might be a million or more segments. So what we've typically done with customers in the past is, looked at some of the higher level aggregates that you would get in non-targeted key value reporting to see, which chunks of inventory are performing well. Ryan, any other questions at this point?
Yes, so we have one other kind of general question from Steve. Will there be documentation online explaining how optimization works so that we can provide a succinct explanation for sales guys, managers, etc.? To that point, Steve and Alex, feel free to interrupt me whenever. We will have Help Center articles, and your account manager can pass on some kind of high-level summaries to help your internal organization. And then the second question, the old Adapt took a snapshot of the network at a moment in time and optimized based off of that data. Will this new way gather data continuously?
Yeah, so that's something that I'm going to talk about at length in the next couple of slides, but the answer is yes. It gathers data continuously. The models are automatically rebuilt every night. And that's the pretty cool secret sauce that we're able to leverage now that we're inside of Google. So let's move on to that section. Oh, sorry, I forgot I have one more slide here. Like I said, the net effect here when you're able to do these kinds of optimizations is you improve site stats, you increase advertiser satisfaction, and that I think has two effects. One is it helps the sales team charge a premium for your inventory because it's performing well, but then also on future deals, it helps you earn more deals and larger deals over time because your site's performing better than peers. So let's talk about some of the technology pieces. Before we get into the question about what kind of data and how frequently the models are updating, let's talk about AdWords and AdSense. There are really two sort of critical technology changes here. One, we'll talk about the AdSense piece first, is that the new optimization system leverages the contextual signals that AdSense gets when it crawls the web. So there are two kinds of signals there that the optimization system can use. One is that AdSense will crawl the advertiser's landing page and figure out what they're selling. What it'll essentially do is follow the click-through URL of your ads and look at what's getting advertised on the landing page. Is it golf clubs? Is it vacations to Maui? Is it sports cars? So that's one signal that it pulls into the optimization system from AdSense. The second signal that it can pull in from AdSense is data about the page context. Is the page that you're targeting, is it an article about transmissions? Is it Is it information about how to improve your golf swing? And then what it does is it combines the two pieces of data along with all of the other signals that that optimization has access to, and it figures out, hey, that ad that's run of site that's advertising golf clubs, right now might deliver some to a page about automobile transmissions, and the ad that's advertising car insurance is sometimes delivering to a page about great golf destinations, and it'll say, hey, I can actually lift the performance of both of these ads by rearranging the content that they're delivering to and making it like this rather than like this. So it's not a zero-sum game. You can actually improve the performance of all ads across the system by doing those kinds of rearrangements, by pairing advertiser content along with page context. And those are the kinds of of optimizations that traffickers will typically do manually when they're trying to boost the performance of a campaign. But on a very, very large site, especially one with user-generated content, it can be pretty hard to find those those pockets of content where an ad's going to perform well. And so the system is now able to entirely automate that. So that's the AdSense technology piece. The AdWords technology piece, and this is going to feed into this discussion about the models, is that we're now using a machine learning system that was developed for AdWords called SETI. It's a joke on search for extraterrestrial intelligence. This is Google's secret sauce for its own Google.com search result ads. Every time a user does a search result on Google, the SETI models predict, what are the ads that are most likely to, is this user most likely to respond to right now? And this is really a big part of Google's own success on its owned and operated properties. What we're doing now is taking that technology that Google developed for Google.com and providing it to all of our publishers for your own sites. And SETI is pretty impressive in a number of ways. So one, and this was the question we got a minute ago, is that it never takes a day off. With legacy Dart Adapt, a statistician maybe after a month after you signed up for Adapt would come in and build a custom model for your network. And it would be a snapshot in time of the keys and values that you were passing in then, of what your traffic looked like then, of the sites and zones that you had then. But as your traffic mix changed, that could get out of date. As your user mix changed, that could get out of date. And it wouldn't be able to take advantage of all the new keys and values that you're sending in on the ad tags. Because optimization is now built with SETI, it literally never takes a day off. It pulls in all new keys and values from your ad tags every night. It retrains the models every night based on new traffic data. It learns about new sites and zones every night after they go live, and all that AdSense and AdSense data gets incorporated every night. So the models are always fresh, always learning. The other cool thing about SETI is that it supports effectively unlimited segments, which means that if you have data on your users or on your pages, even if you're not using it for targeting, you should dump it into your ad tags, because the more that you put into the ad tags, the better optimization is going to be able to perform, because it'll look across all of that. And if creating 1 million segments gives better performance than creating 500,000 segments, it'll go ahead and do that. And there's no manual intervention. There's no need for a statistician to come and create a model. It's literally learning, all improving. The other cool thing is that because the SETI system is fundamentally so much more scalable, and there isn't a need to have a statistician build a model specific to every network, it's much, much more affordable for us to provide the service. And as a result, we've been able to change the pricing structure that we offer it on. So rather than charging on an impression-by-impression basis for specific ads that are optimized, we're now giving you one flat rate for your network that applies to all your inventory. And when you turn optimization on, it's on for every impression in your network automatically. And the results, like I said, are pretty impressive. We're getting 70% average lift across all publishers that are on optimization on the DFP upgrade. which is about double the performance that we've seen in the past with legacy Dart Adapt. And so that's the AdSense data driving it. It's the SETI model from AdWords driving it. It's all the non-targeted key value information in the DFP upgrade driving it. So, about a 2x lift in base performance. One of the cool things there is that rather than your account manager having to provide some, very technical Excel sheet on a monthly or quarterly basis to share the performance results with you, it's now all available right in the product. So you can go right into the reporting interface and you'll get a nice graph on an ad unit by ad unit basis or order by order basis showing exactly what was the optimized click-through rate and performance for an ad versus what was the control click-through rate and performance for a given ad, or for an ad unit, it'll show you how many extra clicks you've received as a result. And that's something that's just incredibly easy to share with an advertiser, share with the sales team, and really use to help justify the performance of your site versus peers. So it's all of that performance data is just built right into the product. The last thing that I wanted to mention is the mobile and video piece. We have a pretty interesting case study that we did with Flixster. They're on the new version of DFP along with the mobile and video add-ons for DFP. And they're one of the first customers that have used optimization with mobile with video. And since on the new version of DFP, we built optimization at the same time as we built mobile and at the same time we built video. It's all integrated into the same ad server. It works automatically for mobile or video without anything necessary extra for our engineering team to do or anything extra for you to configure. And the results are pretty significant. Flixster on their mobile campaigns is getting 120% lift on about 10 million impressions over the course of 3 months, which isn't actually the largest volume that you might expect to see. And also proves out the point that the new version of optimization works for very small campaigns as well. On the video side, 81% lift, while respecting all of the ad rules and syndication rules and competitive exclusion rules that go along with video. Think about being a trafficker trying to retarget a video ad to drive up performance and having all of these extra restrictions around ad rules and syndication rules and competitive exclusion rules. It would be a pretty tough job to figure out how to drive the video performance results given all of those restrictions. Well, optimization is doing it automatically for them on video and delivering more than double the lift that we saw for desktop ads on legacy Dart. So video optimization, mobile optimization, drive site performance across all of those areas. So just to wrap up, the real value here is driving advertiser satisfaction by optimizing to the metrics that they care about and that they use to judge your site versus peers. Get bigger deals out of those advertisers over time, raise their prices, get more deals from them over time, keep the sales team happy, and improve ad operations efficiency by eliminating all of that time that you spend hunting in the wilderness looking for ways to optimize these campaigns. You can just let the system do it for you automatically. So that's what we wanted to cover. We're absolutely happy to take more questions. So what questions do you guys have?
So this is Ryan. We have a few more from the chat window. From Steve, how granular will this optimization be? Down to the zone level by size or even down to key value?
Yeah, it includes all that data. Zone, size, key value, but it includes way, way more than that. It includes the geo, the city of the user. It includes the operating system the user's on, what type of device they're coming from, the language that their browser is operating in. And the list goes on and on. Essentially, every piece of data that we receive about the ad impression automatically gets dumped into the optimization models. There can be hundreds and hundreds of targeting criteria that are getting used automatically to create one of these segments, and there can essentially be millions of segments that all get created at one time.
Steve was happy with that answer. And it looks like we had another question from Chad. This is only going to look at segments we define in ad tags. Is that correct?
No, that's not actually correct. Any data that you're passing in automatically gets used for the segmentation. So if you're passing in data on the ad tags about the user's gender or their interests or what sections of the site they go to frequently, it will automatically pick up all the data from the ad tags. But say that you were passing in no data on your ad tags at all, other than just what site and zone is this that I'm targeting. There would still be a ton of data for the optimization system to work with. It would know the user's language. It would know where they're located. It would know what time of day it is. It would know what browser, what device they're coming from. It would use all of that automatically for optimization. And to the point that I was talking about with AdSense earlier, it would figure out by itself what's the page content about. Is it an article about sports cars or is it an article about golf? And it will figure out what's the advertiser selling. What's the subject of their landing pages? Are they selling golf vacations or are they selling motor oil? So even if you were passing in no data on your ad tags, you had no data on your users whatsoever, you would still see pretty significant lift because we have all of this data that we're bringing to the party.
And kind of a nice follow-up to that from Tyler, will we need to add anything else to our pages for the optimization to work? Could this optimization slow page load time? So Alex, feel free to correct me, but as of today, as long as you have your sites tagged, that information will be passed into your DFP platform. It should not slow your load page time.
Yeah, no, there's no slowdown in page load whatsoever because this is just built into the core ad selection algorithm. There's no slowdown. And there's nothing you need to do to change your pages. You can start operating with your tags exactly as they are right now, and you'll see significant lift. If you have other data about your users that you're not passing in, sure, start passing it in, and we'll do a better job optimizing. But you don't have to make any changes to your pages.
That's all for the chat window. I'm going to move over to the Dory for questions that were submitted beforehand.
Okay.
The top one would be, using API calls, how can we determine if an ad is under or over delivering, and how can we adjust the priority to fix an under delivery by overriding with that priority?
So that's a question that's not actually specific to optimization. That's just a general ad delivery question. Let me answer the sort of optimization-specific version of that question first. What we often hear from publishers, the question we often get is, if I'm using optimization, is it going to cause my ads to underdeliver? And the entire way that optimization has been defined is that it's what we call a constraint-based optimization. The constraint is that you've said this line item has to deliver 1 million impressions in the United States, and we're not going to do anything to violate that. If we have room to move within those constraints to optimize ad performance, we will drive up ad performance, but we're not going to violate the constraints that you've put on the ad. So optimization doesn't cause ad under delivery at all. The more general version of that question, about can I use API scripts to check under delivery of ads? Absolutely. If you go to code.google.com/APIs/DFP, there are a bunch of code examples there for how to pull order and line item status and see delivery to schedule and adjust priorities if necessary. And that's something that our developer relations team can also help out with, and your account manager can put you in touch with developer relations. There are a number of other features that we have in the product for doing this. One is the alert system that we just launched. You can sign up to get alerts if campaigns drop below a certain delivery level, for example. So there are a number of ways of addressing that, but just to reassure you, that's not an issue that's germane to optimization.
And the second question kind of is in line with the initial one. With only one creative per ad, our traffickers are manually optimizing across zones by retrafficking, changing parameters based on pulled reports. is it possible to use DFP API to automate this manual human optimization? Are other companies doing this? So again, at the core, like this is what the optimization tool will provide for you. And Alex kind of spoke to the API connection in that.
Yeah, I mean, publishers could try to manually create their own scripts that run via the API and like do this kind of retargeting, but that will, never deliver the results that something like DFP optimization can deliver, because it makes its targeting choices on an impression by impression basis in real time using millions and millions of segments, and all of this data that's coming in from AdSense. And it's a whole lot less work. It's it's one checkbox rather than being a really intensive process a publisher needs to set up.
And we just got another question from the chat from Jamarlin. Is this tool premium direct sales specific? If not, is there a potential conflict if we run code from ad networks within DFP optimization and the ad networks have their own optimization logic?
So it's not specific to direct sales, and there isn't a conflict. The answer here is just really a best case scenario, is that optimization works on any campaign that has a goal of a specific number of impressions or clicks. So what it'll do is, if you have a direct sold campaign, it will adjust the delivery and the targeting of that campaign to automatically drive its performance. But let's say you have a bulk campaign that's priority 12, and it's 1 million impressions targeted to an ad network. If you've click tracked that campaign, optimization is going to be able to lift its performance. And the ad networks are certainly optimizing for clicks and conversions, and that's the same thing that DFP optimization would do. And so you're actually going to get a multiplicative effect between DFP optimization and the ad network, where DFP optimization is giving the ad network a better set of traffic to start with, essentially a more qualified set of traffic. And then on top of that, the ad network is going to be doing their own predictive optimization based on the data that they have. So the two things actually help one another out.
Going back to the Dory questions, are there any best practices for dynamic adjustment of ads via API manipulations? Example, recommendations for window of elapsed time to wait before attempting to determine effectiveness of an adjustment.
Yeah, so that's real similar to to one of the earlier questions we've had. What we're talking about here, DFP optimization, is an entirely automated system where you click one checkbox and the system automatically optimizes and learns and retargets for you. And that is a much, much lower cost, higher performance way of driving site performance than trying to do any of this stuff through the API. So, my recommendation, if we were looking at your specific case, would probably be to, don't try doing this stuff through the API. Sign up and do a trial of DFP optimization first, and see what the results are.
Are there any other questions? You can submit them either via chat or unmute yourself and go ahead and ask them.
All right, so it sounds like there probably aren't other questions. And I'll just say it as the hook is at the end of this is, if you want more information about optimization or you want to do a trial of the product, your account managers have more information and can work with you through the details. And if you have any feedback, once you try the product for the product team, your account managers know us well. They're great about sending your feedback and your questions and your comments over to us. So, let them know how you like the product, and, we'll certainly hear about that and, work on a roadmap that lines up, with the needs that we hear from all of you.
Reiterate that I'm joined by several of my colleagues and a lot of your account managers. So you've been present for the presentation, and we will be happy to answer any follow-up questions. So feel free to send them our way, and we can set up a call.
And just to let you know, thanks again for joining. We're still testing the Google Plus Hangout or the PubTalk session as a as a way to interact more with our partners. So we will be sending over a super quick survey. If you have any feedback for us, or if you have a minute or two to spare filling that out, it would really help us make these better.
So again, thank you very much for your time, and Alex, I appreciate you taking the time to present for us.
Absolutely. Thanks for dialing in, everybody.
All right, take care, everyone. Have a great day.